Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched WWE NXT episode 570, NXT UK episode 101, SmackDown episode 1090, 205 Live 187, and Raw episode 1415, all broadcast from July 8th through July 13th, 2020. There is a ton to talk about, but first, let's start with the second night of the Great American Bash. This episode was fantastic. One of the best episodes of NXT ever, possibly, maybe. I don't know. But we started off with Candice LeRae versus Mia Yim in a street fight. There's at one point when they're pulling all the stuff out from under the ring, Tom Phillips says, "There's an IKEA under there." I really like that. Candice LeRae won after a swinging neckbreaker off of the ropes, off of the posts, off of somewhere. No, they were on the, they had a table that was on top of the ropes. So it was all of those things all together. A swinging neckbreaker off into a pile of chairs, which pretty much killed both of them. And we had the picture-in-picture during the entire commercial break was of them just laying there the entire time. Dead. Almost dead. So it was pretty great. Then we had Bronson Reed versus Tony Nese. This match was not announced beforehand, so it was a pleasant surprise to see Bronson Reed in there. I guess they were having a dark match before the show, and then some there's some conflict between the two that happened. Yeah. It was kind of weird, but it worked. We got a great match out of it. Bronson Reed won via a big splash to Tony Nese. And then we had, Shotzi backstage, approached by the Robert Stone brand, but his coffee gets knocked out of his hand. I think Shotzi knocked the coffee out of his hand or whatever. He flings it backwards. Robert Stone brand is described as being on fire, and Shotzi says, "Yeah, a dumpster fire." The coffee cup spills all over Killian Dane, and Dane is very mad. He gets Robert Stone's knocked down to the ground, and then Shotzi runs over his leg with her tank. His exposed ankle. His most vulnerable spot. That shows the expertise of Shotzi Blackheart. How experienced she is in a fight. Target the weakest spot on your opponent. Then we had Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Johnny Gargano as a result of them getting into it last week, as Swerve attempted to break up Candice and Mia's conflict back there. Gargano won via the final beat. Then we had Tegan Nox versus Tegan Nox. No, I wrote that down. Io Shirai versus Tegan Nox will be next week, is announced. And then we had El Legado del Fantasma versus Emporium. That's Breezango, Tyler Breeze, and Fandango plus Drake Maverick. They had a Lucha entrance. Drake Maverick was not part of that entrance. I was a little bit disappointed in that he got his own entrance. He wasn't included with the Breezango fun things, the fun Lucha things. But yeah, they lost. Of course, Emporium lost. His Legado Santos pinned Drake Maverick. I wouldn't have imagined it happening any other way. And then, as I had predicted on Twitch, Mercedes Martinez fought Santana Garrett and handled her quite easily. Also, Mercedes wore a super awesome mask. Please wear a mask. When you go to the store, when you go outside, when you go out in public, when you're around other people, please wear a mask. It helps you protect them. And then wearing a mask helps protect you. Let's all protect each other. Keep everyone safe. All right. Up next, we had, who is DP? Oh, Damian Priest. He says that Cameron Grimes is a little B. And so he challenges him, and we'll get that match next week. Cameron Grimes versus Damian Priest. Damian Priest is going to shoot an arrow right at his face. And then our main event, which was fantastic. Keith Lee, the North American champion, versus Adam Cole, the NXT champion. Winner takes all. Keith at one point says, "I must break him." There's so many great things. I didn't write down very much. I was just enjoying this match so much. But Keith Lee finally won. I was really surprised there was no outside interference from Undisputed Era. I was very, very surprised about that. But Keith Lee won, and he is the double champion. He is the North American champion, and he is the NXT champion. Bask in his glory. We are in a brand new era, the Keith Lee double champ era of NXT. Then over on NXT UK, so this episode was great. I did not see the very end. I guess Karrion Kross was up there on the crow's perch, which is appropriate because Karrion is related to crows, and so I forget exactly what is Karrion. Is Karrion crow meat? I'm not sure. Or no, it's like carcasses, something like that. But anyway, I am that's going to be awesome. That is going to be really good. Then over so NXT UK, we're still in the clip show mode. We got some great picks this week. Who were the picks by? Did I write those down? Oh, I didn't write down who made the picks. Oh, wait. It says in the thing. Maybe. No, it doesn't. Let's see. Yeah, I forget who made these picks. So I'm sorry about that. I think Zaya Brookside made the second pick. And I forget who made the other picks. But we got to see replays of Kushida versus Walter from NXT on October 9th, 2019. We got an excellent promo from Eddie Dennis. I really like all of his promos and his matches. I'm excited to see more from him, more new stuff from him sometime soon. Tony Storm versus Meiko Satomura from the Mae Young Classic. This was the semifinal match in 2008. This is the second Mae Young Classic. That was from October 24th, 2018. That was when it was broadcast. That's not when it actually happened. But Nina Samuels, there's a good video promo for her. I forget exactly what she said in that, but it was pretty good. Very visually interesting. The Eddie Dennis one was very visually interesting as well. And then we got a replay of Pete Dunne versus Zach Gibson from episode of NXT, August 22nd, 2018. This was filmed on the before NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4, because it was a rematch. Zach Gibson had earned a championship match, and he failed, and then he got a rematch shortly after that. Fairly soon after that. So yeah, it was there's some pretty good matches there on NXT UK this week. And I did watch those on stream, so I did kind of like a watch along sort of thing on this past Saturday's episode. I think it was. I was just watching some wrestling and some other stuff while I was playing a lot of Supercard, trying to grind some stuff on there. By the way, go to twitch.tv/thedemonjackal. I stream every morning. That's part of why I haven't been podcasting every single day. I've just been doing it like once a week. But I have some possible new podcast stuff coming up to kind of fill in the gaps, to make up for the lack of the lack of more frequent podcasts in this regard. So I probably will. I had been saying I was going to get back to doing one episode per day or whatever, per day of new shows. But I think I'm going to stick to this twice a week when there's a pay-per-view. Having the pay-per-view is a good time to break up that. I'll have NXT, NXT UK, SmackDown, and 205 Live this week as one episode this coming week. So that I can talk about all of my Extreme Rules predictions. But anyway, go to twitch.tv/the Demon Jackal. I'm just talking about wrestling like pretty much the entire time, every single day. And yet, there's still some stuff to talk about here on the podcast. All right. So then we have SmackDown. What happened on SmackDown? Okay, so this past week, I missed, for this episode of SmackDown, I was really tired, and I tried to take a nap too late in the day, and I missed the first 30 minutes. Just like I talked about this in the last episode, I missed the first 45 or so minutes of Raw. I feel like I missed a whole lot. We ended up with Jeff Hardy versus The Miz after it was announced that Jeff Hardy would be on Miz TV. I thought I misread what somebody said in the chat and said, oh, that'll be cool, Jeff Hardy versus The Miz. It was like, no, it was on Miz TV. And I was like, you know what, it probably is going to be an actual match too. And it was. So we'll see how that works out with things. I don't remember reading anything about what happened after the match, who won the match or anything like that. But anyway, when I tuned in, we had Sasha and Bayley versus Nikki and Alexa Bliss. Bayley won. She pinned Nikki while Nikki was concerned for Alexa, who had been like hit in the head with something or something. I don't remember what happened. I don't think she was hit in the head with something, but I feel like Bayley did something not Bayley. I feel like Sasha did something that wasn't very nice, which may have been like hitting her in the head with something. With like imagine like a cookie sheet for some reason. I don't think that happened, but maybe she did something that. Oh, right. It may as well have been okay. She got thrown hard. She got thrown hard into the barricades. And I don't blame Nikki at all for being concerned with that event occurring. We got a replay from Bray versus Braun for Money in the Bank. So that was a thing. Let's see. Sarah Schreiber interviewing the New Day was so fun to watch. And then she was like trying to clap the New Day Rocks and like could not get it at first, or it was awkward because she was holding a microphone. I think it was more so that it was awkward that she was holding a microphone, but I really liked that interview. Then we had a karaoke thing that happened. It was, I don't know, but it ended up being Lacey Evans versus Naomi. I did talk about this on Twitch a little bit. Like, I don't get why they just had a match after this anyway. Like, having the karaoke showdown instead of match, I think would have made sense because it's not as much. Although singing like aerosolizes saliva like nothing else. But yeah, I felt like it would have made more sense if they had the karaoke in order to not have a match and not risk having direct contact with each other. But they all ended up fighting anyway. So just have the fight happen. I don't know. It was a disqualification. I forget why, and the brawl continued after that. I don't know. But AJ Styles and Sarah, another great interview by Sarah. They two sweeted each other, which was fantastic. And then AJ learns that he will be fighting Matt Riddle next week. He will be defending the Intercontinental Championship against Matt Riddle next week. And that his reaction to that was pretty funny too. And then we had the New Day versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro in a championship match, but they were disqualified when they started breaking out some weapons. No, why were they disqualified? I don't remember. I think they attacked whoever the illegal opponent was, attacked their legal opponent. Something like that. But then they went and grabbed the tables, all that kind of thing, and they ended up power bombing Kofi through Big E, who is laying on a table. That was pretty powerful. Man, if I really hope that this is actually, you know what? I wouldn't mind at all if it's a tables match. If it's just a tables match. But surely it's going to be Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro versus the New Day in some type of some type of Extreme Rules match for Extreme, which is good because I realized today neither of the women's championship matches have an Extreme Rules stipulation to them, which I think that's a missed opportunity. They could make some really great matches, whether it's an Iron Woman match or a ladder match. Either one of these, Nikki Cross and Asuka. Nikki Cross versus Asuka, one of the best matches ever on NXT for sure. On any show for sure was their ladder match. But it wasn't a ladder. It was a last woman standing match. But there were ladders and stuff involved. Anyway, if there's something like that, they're both involved in their own respective matches, and they're against amazing opponents, Sasha and Bayley. Like, why not make these some hard hitting, amazing, Extreme Rules hardcore matches of some fashion? Maybe there's still time for those changes to be made. We'll see. We'll see what happens. SmackDown, like half of it, I don't think was even you'd even need to watch. Just watch the Sarah interviews. Just watch those two interviews, and you're all set for this episode. And the Sasha Bayley versus Nikki and Alexa match, and the last match. So like half of it you watch. The other half don't bother watching it. Probably. Anyway, then we had 205 Live. We had two matches there. Corey Graves is back on commentary. Drew Gulak was on commentary with Byron Saxton the last 2 weeks. We had Mansoor versus Tahuti Miles. Mansoor won that match. And then we had Oni Lorcan versus Santos Escobar. No surprise at all. Santos Escobar is way too hot right now. There's no way he's going to win. Or there's no way he's going to lose, let alone lose in a non-title match to Oni Lorcan. I love Oni Lorcan. If you know me, you know that I love Oni Lorcan. But there's just no way he or anybody else is beating Santos Escobar right now. And that brings us to Raw, episode 1415. Oh, what to talk about on this episode of Raw. Okay, so first, unfortunately, I did not sleep through any of this episode. No, it was fine. It was fine. Dolph opens up the show. He's on the VIP lounge, and he's saying that without him, Drew McIntyre would be nothing, etc. Charlie backstage hates on Zelina. She loves Angel Garza, of course, but then the Viking Raiders come by, and just like everybody else, she's got the eyes. She's got eyes for Ivar. Eric, not so much. So we had Viking Raiders versus Angel and Andrade. They did work together and they got the win. Angel got the win after Andrade saved the match by getting Angel's feet up onto the ropes. It was an elimination match, which was pretty interesting because Andrade first pinned Eric, and then Ivar pinned Andrade to eliminate him. But before leaving ringside, he never actually left ringside. That's the ref's fault. That is 100% the referee's fault. But he was able to help Angel grab that win. And so I believe this means they will have a championship match. They will go and fight the Street Profits. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they didn't say anything about that. I kind of assume that's the case. Then up next, Ruby backstage challenges the Iconics, and she has a new tag team partner, at least just for this week, Bianca Belair. And this was fantastic. Go watch this match. It's great. Bianca is back, baby. She wins via the kiss of death to Billie Kay. Every kiss of death begins with Billie Kay. Billie Kay Jewelers there. Anyway, R-Truth is backstage. He talks to Ricochet and Cedric for a little bit, I think. I only wrote some not very helpful notes. But he needs help from Tozawa. He needs help learning to be a ninja because he's going to fight Randy Orton later. And he needs those ninja skills, those black belt skills. But He doesn't want to help. They go out into the ring. It is R-Truth facing off against Akira Tozawa and all of the ninjas, but then Shayna Baszler returns. She interrupts and attacks all of the ninjas except for Akira, who says, "I'm out," and leaves, and R-Truth is about to get attacked, but he leaves as well. Shayna calls all of the other she calls all of the women's champions, who would be three. There would be three of them right now, four of them right now. She calls them all weak-minded, and that she's the dose of reality that they all need. So I was pretty excited to see Shayna back. I want to see her just beating up all those ninjas all the time. I was a little bit disappointed that she didn't beat up R-Truth and take away that 24/7 championship, although that would be kind of weird. Who is going to even try to go after Shayna? Who would even try to do that? I don't know. Backstage, I remember this now. Murphy is looking really, really stressed out, and Seth comes up to him and says, "Murphy, what's troubling you?" And I freaking loved that. I loved that. It was great. But anyway, we had Murphy. I thought it was Murphy versus Aleister Black. I don't know. It was actually Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. I didn't know what was going. I kind of wasn't paying attention to it, and my feed kept like cutting out and stuff, so I was kind of confused. But Kevin Owens won with the stunner. While everybody had surrounded the ring, we had Aleister Black out there. We had, who else did we have out there? We had Rey Mysterio. We had Dominic. All of them were out there on all sides, and Seth had nowhere to go. Ray says a bunch of stuff he's already said before that is going to take Seth's side. Backstage, Ric Flair is talking to Ric Flair. Ric Flair is talking to the Big Show, and he basically says, "I love you, you're great, but don't fight Randy Orton." And then Big Show says, "I know what you're trying to do. You're not going to trick me. I'm going to go fight Randy Orton." So, Randy Orton, as after Ric Flair leaves, it looks like he might have his eyes on Rick. I saw a glint of evil, and it was like, maybe he always has a glint of evil in there. Anyway, up next we had R-Truth versus Randy Orton. Randy Orton beat him with a RKO in just about 2 seconds. So the match, it was like 5 seconds total, including the 3 count. But then Big Show comes out. He interrupts Randy before he's able to punt R-Truth. And the Big Show challenges... Randy Orton challenges Big Show to an unsanctioned match next Monday. So they will not have a match at Extreme Rules, but they will have an unsanctioned match next Monday. I think that'll be pretty good. And then Sarah is back there running around, going between interviews. I forget what the context of that was, but she ran. She was trying to interview Lashley and MVP, I think, and then they kind of told her to buzz off or something, and then she goes and runs to go talk to to Drew McIntyre off in the background. So I really enjoyed that. Anyway, then we had Bobby Lashley versus Ricochet. Bobby Lashley won via the full Nelson, and I forget what the reason for that match was. Oh, it's the whole thing with MVP telling Ricochet, trying to convince Cedric. Actually, he's trying to tear those two apart. So getting into Cedric's ear, saying like, he's getting more attention than you. You're in his shadow, basically. You got to break away from him and go out on your own and be with me instead and be in my shadow. So yeah. Then the entire last half hour was Sasha Banks and the Kabuki Warriors. But first we got the tribute to the role models. Got their entrances and all that. The match was fantastic. All of these Sasha Banks and Bayley matches are great. All these Asuka and now Kairi Sane is back. All of their matches are great. There's that hot tag to Kairi Sane. It was the most exciting few moments of a tag team match, in my opinion, in many, many weeks, because you just dominate. It was like as if, man, Kairi getting in there, hitting them with all these power moves, taking them down, both of them with a double spear, double interceptor. So great. So great. It was as if you tagged in like the most powerful wrestler who's ever wrestled. Ever. And that's the hot tag that we got from Kairi Sane. It was amazing. But that sliding D from Kairi Sane was brilliantly countered into the bank statement to end the match. Oh, man, that was so good. This match is so good. So good. Go watch it. So my match of the week is that match, absolutely. But also go and check out the New Day versus Shinsuke and Cesaro. That was pretty solid. And of course, Keith Lee versus Adam Cole, baby. Fantastic. So I am really looking forward to next week's stuff, especially Io Shirai versus Tegan Nox. That's going to be stellar. I do not expect Tegan Nox to win. This is Io Shirai's first. No, it's not her first defense. Is it her first title defense since In Your House? I think it might be. But so I do not expect Tegan Nox to win, but I do expect it to be a pretty great match. But we'll see what happens. So that's it. Once again, tune in to twitch.tv/TheDemonJackal. Stream every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. And sometimes in the evenings doing other stuff. But in the mornings, it's all Supercard and wrestling trivia type games. It'll make sense. If you go back and watch some episodes, you'll see what I'm talking about. So yeah, that is everything for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you thought about all of these episodes by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe in iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all of the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye.